studio at 572-9710 or WhatsApp 287-0971 or REVA office numbers are 572-0383 and 572-0215. REVA St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Speak up and take responsibility when they see something going wrong in this country, in their community, in their houses, in their jobs. It embodies the idea that accountability isn't just for leaders, but for every citizen. Tanya Stevens reminds us of corruption in high and low places only to remind us that because we have a colonial mentality, we see only the oppression that is above us and not the oppression that is among us. Creating a culture of silence in the face of patent wrongdoing is not just acceptable, it is dangerous and it is destructive. And speaking up respectfully and, more importantly, speaking truth becomes a civic duty of every citizen of this country and everyone who chooses to want to live among us, even though not a citizen.
It's now time for another episode of Meet the Opposition, hosted by Nancy Charles. Nancy, good morning. Welcome once again.
Good morning, Andre. Good morning, listeners. Good morning, St. Lucia. How are you doing today, Andre?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
All right.
I've gotten a lot of calls, Andre. People asking me, Nancy, how are you? My girl, don't worry, etc. We'll get to that, St. Lucia. But I just want to let you know I am in good spirits. I got up very well this morning. And I drove up the road incident-free by the grace of God. I am here and we're starting on time. So I am good.
Well, you're smiling, Nancy.
Yep.
You look like you.
And I'm looking as pretty as ever.
As always. Folks, let me give you a little secret.
Okay.
Nancy only hugs my brother Tony.
Oh!
I had to ask for that the other day.
Oh my word! You think I can put my business out like that? Where Tony? Anyway, don't worry, my love. We'll have a sidebar with Andre after the show.
I think so.
But good morning, St. Lucia. This is a beautiful day. It's a really beautiful day. And I want to thank you. We are in the month of December. And Andre, this is our final program for 2024.
Okay.
We're going through the Christmas season. And I want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you most importantly to God for seeing us through from last year to this year. Thank you to Rev Up 97.1 FM. They gave us this opportunity. They reached out and we took it, and we've been working with them, and they've been very good and very generous. Thank you so much to Rev Up 97.1, Tony, Andre, the staff here. It's just been wonderful. I want to thank you, the viewers who have made Meet the Opposition what it is today. I decided to go through, Andre. There's some programs we had as many as 18,000, 20,000 views.
Wow.
So a lot of people view the program. Sometimes they're not on the live at the same time, but they do view afterwards. And I know for sure that a lot of people are watching, because as I said, as I go around St. Lucia, people just wave me, they give me a heads up, they tell me keep up the good work. Andre, the mistake I did last week, I gave my number on air. I thought a lot of people has my number. It's not a private number, St. Lucia. But I gave my number on air to help Our Lady, and I can give you an update that I did speak to her.
I hope so.
And
yes.
I got a call from a relative of hers, just as a little segue. A relative of hers called me as well, and she said, listen, I am related to this lady. Put me in touch with her because we are family, and we're going to try and help her to sort out this land issue, etc. I gave her the number and so forth. So I'm hoping that they've been able to connect and be able to speak and to try and sort out this land matter. So, as I said, I gave my number on air, and
You got
A lot of people.
You got some new boyfriends.
I got new boyfriends and new girlfriends. A lot of people messaged me and said, "Oh, I really needed your number. I've been, I wanted your number for a long time, etc." and so forth. So it's been good. It's had its challenges, but it's been preferably mostly good. Yeah. So next year, Andre, I think we had a little bit of a discussion, but St. Lucia will be looking to bring the program on television as well. So those of you, maybe you're at home, you do not have a radio at home, and you can't listen, but you will be able to watch us on television. We're still negotiating, but we'll let you know. But it means that we are going to widen the pool, Andre, and we're going to reach more people to ensure that we can, bring out our information. So St. Lucia, thank you. St. Lucians, and we have persons who are overseas who are not St. Lucians who are also viewing the program, just so you know. Sure. I am so grateful, and we are thankful for your love and your support. So thank you. Now, Andre, as with everything, I do like to start with a word of encouragement. So do you celebrate Christmas, Andre?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I know that there are a lot of people who don't celebrate Christmas, and some people believe in Christmas and some people don't believe in Christmas. And I think on this program I've always said I am a born again believer. I believe in Christ, I believe in the Bible, but I also respect people who do not. It's also their choice, and I don't think that I need to force them, but I do believe sometimes I can chat with them and speak to them. It's up to them to accept or not to accept, but I don't believe you should force people or you should look at people differently because they do not have the same faith as you. But for those of us who celebrate Christmas, my encouragement to you today is in terms of the celebration. Now, I am not going to be a hypocrite because people want to say, oh, when it's Christmas, you're just drinking rum and eating food, etc. But isn't that what celebration is about? When somebody has a wedding, Andre, and you are invited after the ceremony, I think most people are looking forward to the celebration part. The eating, having a drink, dancing, being merry. We're not talking about doing the extra things that you shouldn't do, but that I mean, people look forward to that. You have a birthday party, people look forward to coming to your birthday to celebrate with you, to drink and to eat, and that's what celebration around the world, that's what it entails. Beautiful decoration, eating, drinking, music, festivities, etc. And it's the same with Christmas. But I just want to ask you, as I indicated, when there's a wedding, people are celebrating two happy couples. I'm happy for you. I want to wish you long life. I hope you have a beautiful relationship. If it's perhaps a birthday, people want to wish you health, and you're a good friend, you're a nice person to be with, etc. So we are celebrating Christmas, and I want to ask you, what exactly are you celebrating? The story of Jesus is that after we had all these things happening with Adam and Eve and throughout the generations, etc., we were in a position as human beings that we couldn't even go to God ourselves. We had to go to a priest, and they had to offer sacrifices on our behalf when we do wrong, etc. And then God said, you know what? I think I want to have a one-on-one with everybody. And that is why Jesus Christ came, to ensure that we can have that one-on-one relationship. So you don't have to go to a priest to pray for you anymore. You don't have to come to me to pray for you anymore. Of course, you encourage people to pray for each other, and that works as well. But this is not the only option that you have. The option that you have is to go to God for yourself, and that is why Jesus Christ came. So I thought that it would be important to remind you today that as you go through the Christmas season, as you're going to do like me, we're going to buy new curtains, we're going to buy new rugs and mats, and we're going to clean up our house, pull out the cupboards and move all the roaches and everything everywhere, Andre, and polish our china. And then we're going to buy a lot of food, which I always do every year, but I can't do these days. I don't have children, Andre, to cook for. But when I had all the kids, I would buy a lot of food, ham, turkey, and all kinds of things, and lots of cooking and baking, etc., and so forth for the season. So do it if you can. I want to encourage you, do it if you can, and celebrate if you can, if it's possible. But just remember why you are doing it, and what is it you are celebrating? You are celebrating the birth of Christ. Now, some people tell you there's no Christmas in the Bible, and people look for the time Christ was born and all these kind of things. I don't look for that. All I look for is the fact that he was born. Now, we could have had it in April, I would still celebrate. They could have done it in July, I would still celebrate. They're doing it in December, I'll still celebrate. Because I think we all know that December is not necessarily the date that Christ was born. I think everybody knows that. I think it's the symbolism of it to show that we remember and we appreciate the sacrifice that he made to come, and that's why we are celebrating it in December. So, St. Lucia, celebrate and just remember why you are celebrating. That's my encouragement to you. So, Andre, are you going to celebrate?
Yes. As I told you, anything that doesn't do harm to my brother or my sister.
Right.
I want to say brother, sister, I'm talking about my neighbor in general. I have no problem with that. Yes.
So, St. Lucia, our final program for the year. I wanted to keep it light. And the operative word is wanted.
you change your mind.
I wanted to keep it light, and I wanted to have a very Christmassy show, Andre. I wanted to have a lovey-dovey show where everybody will call. And yes, we will open the line so you can call and send greetings to your friends and your loved ones today. And to just close off the year, maybe you can speak to what was very significant or symbolic for you throughout the year. I'll give you the opportunity to do that. But St. Lucia, I cannot let you go into the Christmas season and to open the new year without clarifying a few things and just bringing to your attention and causing you to think. All right? So, people might be asking, is Nancy going to speak about Ernest Hilaire and the court matter today? Yes. But by the way, I have not been served. So who knows? They might be waiting for me to come up to Castries because they don't know my home in Greece. My home is very open in Greece, Everybody in Greece knows where I live. My house is right by the road. But just in case they're waiting for me to come up to Castries, I'm here at the studio. So the lawyers can come in at any point in time and wait after the show and get my lawyer's letter and serve me. I'm not running away. So I'm here. But
and I have a question for you.
Right.
Before you
certain
finish. Things
that happened this week, Andre, as is usual, I really want to bring out and to remind St. Lucia that I don't know if you heard the news, but Stephenson King said he's doing a good job. Did you hear that, Andre?
No.
Yes.
He said he's doing a good job.
Stephenson King gave an interview and said that he is doing a good job. Hold on, Andre. I'm just sending the link to some people. That he's doing a good job. And he does not, essentially, he's not paying attention to what people say because he knows that he's doing a good job. That was the highlight of my week. I was like, really? And so he went on to say, he's putting Namalco, which is the company doing the roads, on notice. And I thought, to me, I heard that before. Didn't you hear that before, Andre? Didn't you put C.O. William on notice as well? I'm putting C.O. William on notice and I'm giving them deadlines and timelines to finish the Millennium Highway, etc. What happened? Did anything change? Did C.O. William change their timing or whatever? The road proceeded as usual. Still not completed. I still try not to pass there, but
there's been a lot of improvement.
Yes, yeah. A huge improvement
on the Millennium Highway.
But I'm saying it still took the same amount of time.
I know that too. He did say that work would have been finished by June this year.
Yeah. Well, we're in December.
So maybe he meant June next year.
Okay, no problem. But I'm just saying, this man has no shame. Honestly, St. Lucia, I think if I was Stephenson King, you see the little hole or the rock that I was under for the last couple of weeks and months, I would just stay under there, because, sir, unfortunately, every time you come out, nobody believes you. Everything that comes out of your mouth, people they're taking it not with 1 grain of salt and take it with a whole pound of salt because they believe nothing that you say. And you have proven by your words that you are unbelievable, that nobody can trust you. I mean, you listen to King speak like he was never part of the previous government, Andre. And I was like, yeah, that's true. He should say that for you because he was never part of the previous government. He was only there conniving and conning ways that he could bring down the government. That's what he was there for. So he spent 5 years sitting in cabinet, being treated respectfully by Alan Chasney and the team. And he was joking them every day, and Alan always gave him the benefit of the doubt. Every minister was crying about Stephenson King. But there were two things that was happening. Two reasons why. One, because this man is lazy, cannot come through on nothing. And the second is he was too busy conniving, and that is why nothing happened. And he's in this administration, and I don't know if you've heard the tape, Andre. I'm sure St. Lucians have heard it. The tape of this woman who called Yadi about Stephenson King and the state of our roads, and saying that he thinks that Stephenson King is deliberately sabotaging the government, and calling on Philip J. Pierre to open his eyes to see what's going on. I said, really? Oh, only now you realize that this man might be sabotaging your government? So, once a sabotager, always a sabotager, if that's a word. Depuis Yohani, vie messe Yohani. You understand? So, this year was supposed to be the year of infrastructure. You all remember?
So, sorry. So, what was Yadi's response to that call?
Yadi and Jaime just stayed quiet, and they said, okay, caller. That was it. I'll send you the tape maybe after the show. That was it. But this woman was mad. She was upset. She was vexed. Zote vle, mili, point. Nou pa vle yankon? Nou pa vle yankon. No return to sender. Keep it. Keep it. We don't want it. UWP is okay. Alright? We're okay without it. But Andrea was saying this is the year of infrastructure. The Prime Minister had a huge budget, and he mentioned all infrastructure projects. In fact, things that we have never known to be infrastructure in the history of St. Lucia, he says that is infrastructure. And none of them have come through. None of them have come through. Okay? The year of infrastructure. And so, when Stephenson King speaks,
sorry,
nobody listens.
Can you remember some of what the Prime Minister said in his speech at that time as to what the infrastructure
some of
projects would be?
infrastructure. I mean, he spoke about IT as being part of infrastructure. I mean, he may be right, he may be wrong, but this is not what we know as infrastructure. But even the things we know as infrastructure, which is our road, our bridges, renovations and maintenance of public buildings and public spaces, building of public facilities and things like that. I don't know that anybody, and I stand corrected, nothing has been done. Do you know one road that has been completed in the year of infrastructure? One road that has been done? I mean, you have patching happening all over the place. Okay, they're patching roads here, there, and everywhere. So they've given a little reprieve in certain places. But have you heard of a road, a stretch of road, a mile of road, 10 kilometers of road anywhere in St. Lucia that has been done in this year of infrastructure? I don't know. Somebody can call me and tell me, but I don't know. And don't call me and tell me a road that was started by UWP and finished by Labour Party. Huh? Because the roads Kenson talk about and the roads some of these other people talk about, these were roads that were started by the UWP and Labour Party came in, these roads were completed and they claim it. Fine, that's okay. It's alright, you know. But don't tell me about that, alright? But also, I think Ernest Hilaire spoke about high tourism numbers in Parliament. I'll get to that. But Andre, while you were speaking, I said to myself, I mean, you talking about the highest number of cruise tourism arrival we are projecting, projecting St. Lucia. We are projecting, and then the look at what he said, we are projecting since 2019. So the year that he's comparing it to is since 2019. So that goes to show you what we've been telling you all along, that under a UWP administration, we have done better in tourism than any Labour Party administration. And our year is comparison year is 2019 because COVID hit 2020, Andre. And so they have yet to surpass 2019 figures. Yet. We are in 2024. Yet to surpass 2019 figures. So when they tell you tourism increased by 40% and 15%, it is not that it increased by 15% from the 2019 year. It has increased coming out of COVID. You understand? That's how they trick people. Because if you were at 100, Andre, I've said before, and something happened, you went down to 0. And from 0 you went up to 50. You can say we increased by 50%. That is correct. But you've been increased by 50% from 0, not from where you were at 100. You should have been increased from 100 to 150, but you've now from 0 to 50. So it's just Jimmy flicks, gerrymandering as we call it.
Sorry.
And it's the same thing that we spoke to you when we spoke about the unemployment numbers. And they tell you unemployment is down, record low. But they've never explained, and the Economic and Social Review showed clearly that the reason unemployment numbers, not people out there in the street, the numbers show that it is lower because they've used a different method to calculate it. So you can use different methods to show and to make the numbers tell what they want.
I need to ask you a question concerning the issue of numbers when it comes to visitors and so on to our country. We know bad luck plays a role. How that you could have a projection what you expect in terms of the number of tourists coming to your country in a particular year, but you have bad luck, meaning a tsunami, for example,
something happened,
bad weather, terrorism, anything could affect the numbers. I'm just curious. When we hear governments talking about tourism numbers, so since bad luck plays a role, does good luck also play a role in that as well? In other words, it's just. Maybe it just happened to be a good time for people to travel, things like that.
Good luck plays a role because sometimes when the value of the US dollar is a little bit, I think, is it higher or lower, it means that people have more spending money. You understand? And so it means that you have more people who can travel. So when you look at inflation, if inflation goes down, it means people have more expendable income. That trip that you've been wanting to take for 2 to 3 years, I'm finally going to take it now, etc. So yes, good luck plays a part in it. If good stuff is happening on the stock market, so if the stock market goes down and it crashes, people don't travel. But if it goes up and people are making more money on their investments, etc., they have more money to travel, more money to spend. So you are correct. Bad luck plays a role and good luck plays a role. So
but would you agree then that governments do certain things, they take certain types of action or whatever to ensure that they increase the numbers?
You must.
And what would things like what? For example, marketing and so on?
Marketing, a lot of money in marketing the destination, a lot of money in ensuring that the destination is safe, to show that the destination has things that people can participate into. You spend also a lot of money in ensuring that you negotiate, let's say, with the airlines. When it comes to seats, you negotiate with the airlines, and that goes into a long history about whether you pay airlines for the seat, etc. We've had all those controversies, but you also negotiate with the cruise ships as well, because remember, the cruise ships, when they do the Caribbean call, there are many ports and many ports that they can call. They can decide to go to Barbados and St. Vincent and wherever. So throughout, you have to now go and pre-negotiate the season, and that's why they're able to make the projections. So when they negotiate with the various cruise lines, the cruise lines give them a guarantee and say, okay, we will be making 20 calls with this ship to your port this year, etc. And so you can say, okay, we've been doing very well, we have projected increase, we have more cruise ship will be coming, etc. So I would say that 90% of what happens in the tourist industry is determined based on what the government does or does not do.
Okay,
it's based on how much money is pumped into it. It's based on how you spend the money and where you spend the money. So it's very important that government policy is one that works and one that is geared towards bringing the visitors in.
So what role do influencers play? Like, for example, Julian Alfred. What role? Is that minuscule or is it really huge?
No, it's huge. It's huge because you see, these people are international out there, and out there internationally, let's say, Andre, I have heard that maybe a huge percentage of persons in the US, for example, maybe Asia and some of the, if you say to them the Caribbean, they tell you Caribbean, oh, you're from Jamaica. That's the only place they know in the Caribbean. Why? Two things: because of reggae music, Bob Marley, and because of athletics, Usain Bolt, Sheridan Fraser, etc. Now, why? Because these people participate on an international level that St. Lucia does not. So when you have somebody like Julian Alfred, who is now in that space, people say, oh, Julian, the girl who runs, where is she from? Oh, she's from St. Lucia. Let me find out where St. Lucia is. It's a beautiful country. Maybe I will visit, etc. So influencers play a huge role. So when you spend money on influencers, of course you have to know who they are and ensure that they have following, etc. But they do play a role. They do play a role. Okay. So what's the lady name? The African lady who came down for Carnival. I'm not a carnival person, but she was all over social media.
Obidi?
Yeah. There was a lot of criticism. I mean, they were good and bad, etc. I mean, I'm not in a position to say, but I know things like that do work. As to whether she was the best of the best and her following, I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm saying things like that do work.
All right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So I guess a sitting government then would be justified in taking credit for high tourism visitor arrivals, right?
Yes, but they would be justified in taking the credit, but I also want them to be justified in taking the loss. The thing is, when it's good, Andre, they say, oh, we did this and we did that and we have high numbers. And when the numbers go down, they're like, well, it wasn't our fault. It was the previous administration because they didn't do this and they didn't do that and whatever. It's the same thing with crime. If crime goes down, they're like, yes, we've been doing well. We've empowered the police and we've whatever. But crime is growing up and they don't take thing for it.
Blame.
They don't take the blame. They don't say it's our responsibility. You've ever heard the Prime Minister say it's my responsibility that the rate of crime is going up? Ever? But you remember there was a little lull, a period of time, there was a little lull, I think maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks or whatever, there was a lull, no crime. And he said, oh, I have to say that we have been doing very well based on what we've done and given to the police. We've had no crimes in the last couple of weeks, and boom, as soon as he said that, we started again. And that takes me to the issue of crime, Andre. Can you believe it? I think last night I heard the news we were at 74.
Yes.
St. Lucia, 74. 74 people murdered this year. And the government is clueless. And I'll tell you something. I have heard it said before. St. Lucia, let me say something to you. The United Workers' Party is not gloating over the fact that we have a high crime rate. Alright? I want to make that clear. And that is why, again, I play this mere tape every day, because we have to speak the truth. You understand? We have a duty as citizens to speak the truth. We cannot bury our head in the sand. So when we come out and we speak the truth, they say, oh, they gloating, they glorify. We're not glorifying crime. We're bringing it to your attention because it seems you do not understand that this is a serious problem in this country, and we have to remind you, Mr. Prime Minister and Minister for National Security. So we do not glorify crime, and we do not gloat when there is another murder. We come out to say to you, another murder, do something. Somebody has died, say something. Andre, this government does not come out to say anything when somebody has died, you know. Not even to share their condolences to the family. Not even to come out publicly to share their condolences. Andre, in the big countries, one person out of 1 million people, when one person is murdered, a press conference, the mayor comes, the governor comes, the chief of police comes, everybody comes just for one, and you would think maybe out of 100,000, one person that is insignificant, but they show you the value that they place on that one life. In St. Lucia, 74 murders. What have you heard from the government? What have you heard from the Minister of National Security? What have you heard from the Minister of Crime Prevention, Mr. Jeremiah Nubbard? I heard him a couple of days ago and saying, oh, we have to stop that, and Christmas is coming, and he was trying to be firm, and I said to him, I'm sorry, my darling, too late for that. Too late for that, because y'all have set the example. Remember, in St. Lucia, they set the example. When you come into government, and the first thing you did as you came into government was to go to Parliament and to ensure that you wipe away the criminal records of persons who would have broken the law during COVID. You remember that, Andre? People who came in the police face, you saw them. There were current government of ministers now who were then opposition playing their hands in the police office face, and we're doing this and we're not doing that and we're not doing that, etc. And you know what y'all did when y'all came? Y'all went to Parliament and y'all decriminalized the action and ensured that, in fact, I am hearing that some of these people have now filed unlawful lawsuit, and government may have even settled with them and paid them. Yes, I'll bring that to you next year. They may have paid them. People like Christopher Hunt may have been paid off for wrongful arrest or whatever. You understand? So when you set the tone and you say to them it is okay, what do you expect? What do you expect? People, there is power in the tongue. Whether you believe it or not, there is power in the tongue. But St. Lucia, Andre, is not a happy place these days, and people have very little to be happy about. I can say that to you. It's become a very sad and a difficult place to live. Very, very sad. I mean, thank God for Julian Alfred, who earlier this year brought a little joy, and we had celebration. We had something positive to hold on to, and people were saying, oh, we should be like that all the time. Look at how Julian was able to bring everybody together. Because what Julian did was something unique, she was able to do and she was able to achieve. And it was able to bring everybody together for that moment. But again, like we spoke about, like Andre asked me the question, policy.
Don't forget, I have another question for you.
Yes, policy. And then we have healthcare, Andre. It's just really bad. I mean, my husband was telling me about a colleague of his who was admitted at OKEU. Oh yes, we have a good bit of people under the live. And he's been in the aisle on a gurney or whatever you call it. And then he's giving the story about an 80-year-old lady. St. Lucia, I want you to imagine that. Imagine that, Andre. Your mom is still alive?
No.
But imagine your mom was still alive at 70 or 80. She's not well. You've taken her to OKEU, seen the doctor after how many horrifying hours, and she's been admitted because she can't go home. She's not well. And she's admitted and sitting in a wheelchair in the aisle of the hospital. I want y'all to imagine that, St. Lucia. Le nou ka palek nou ka dousa. Lo we mousa ka bavadek bat bouch li enitil. Ka try di yo ka over disek, you ka fe that and whatever. That is the reality that people are going through. That you have people who are 80 years old sitting in a wheelchair, admitted in the hospital. So where do they change? How do they go to the bathroom and take a shower? And when they shower, change their clothes, they have to do it in the bathroom. Where's the privacy? Now, how do they stretch their legs? And when you're 80, you want to lie down, open your little arms, and you understand. And you're in a wheelchair 24/7, sitting in an aisle at 80 years. So, opakwe, muni wezon, puyo di yo pakay l'hopital yo si me wese la kayo, kushan le kaban yo, ek mola kayo pito. It's not better. It's not better for them to stay at their home and lie down on their bed and take the pain and self-medicate and take Panadol or whatever, because when you go there, they don't have Panadol anyway. There's no medication anyway. And you're going to be in a chair in the aisle. Is it not better for them to just stay at their home? What type of care is this in 2024 in little St. Lucia? A little population of about 180,000? And y'all don't want people to get vexed about that? Come on, Andre. Come on. Come on. But you know what? The Prime Minister, the Minister, everybody tell you everything is okay. They had a big little celebration. They reopened the Cuban Eye Care Clinic, etc. I think they renovated the place and so forth and so forth. But by the way, St. Lucia, that was closed before we came into office, And we had been working with the Cubans in restoring and getting equipment, etc. As they tell you, Chasney never closed the Cuban Eye Care Clinic. We still had a little bit of service being offered, but they couldn't do surgery, Andre, and there were certain procedures they couldn't do because there was no equipment. And we were in the process of sourcing it, and then COVID hit, and remember, we changed VH to the respiratory clinic, so people couldn't go there, etc. And everything was transferred to OKEU. So la yo ka vin manti, dou chasne ferme, nou vie ou vey, drama, mante. But anyway, that's for another show. But I want him, why the minister not going to OKEU and going in the aisle and watching people on a gurney and on a wheelchair who are admitted? That's not the ones waiting for 12 hours, These are people who are admitted, Andre, and said you are not well, you cannot go home, we need to treat you in the hospital, and you're in the aisle on a wheelchair, admitted at the hospital. Eko sa vlog kite yo ka ba wan bil? Lo kite yo ka ba wan bil? All right.
So just before
you
you
have
move
one
on,
question. Yes.
my question is not yet. I want to ask you something just to clarify something. You said there were people during COVID who were protesting, maybe the lockdowns and so on, and you said that some people, or you said may have been compensated for that, or
that's my information.
They have been compensated.
May have been.
All right.
And I say may have been, and that's why I say I will confirm it. So we'll do that next year. But my information is some of these people have taken the matter to court, and the government has settled.
That's the information that you have.
That's the information I have. So I will confirm it, and people can message me and confirm it. But I did get, but I'll confirm it because I always want to bring the document to show you. But yes, may have been.
Okay,
so if the government settled and may have paid them.
Because you mentioned Christopher.
Yep, Christopher was one of them for sure. He had taken, is it Mr. Shallery, Wayne Shallery, to court and so forth. So yeah.
So he may have been compensated.
May have. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll confirm it.
Okay.
All right.
I need to ask you about this. I think it's called an administrative center.
I was just getting to that.
Okay,
Vieux
good.
Fort Administrative
well,
Center.
good. But you take it from there.
So the Vieux Fort Administrative Center, again, St. Lucia. I hope you'll remember because I have good memory. National Jetud Bay. The Vieux Fort Administrative Center. Kenny Anthony came into power in 1997. All right? He was the Prime Minister and he was the Minister of Finance. 97, 98, 99, 2000. In 2001, there was elections in St. Lucia. So that's 5 years, right? He ran elections and he won again. And he remained Prime Minister. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's 10 years. Dr. Kenny Anthony was the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister of St. Lucia and the parliamentary representative for Vieux Fort South. In 2006, he lost the election. John Compton, Stephenson King came into power, and he was still the MP for Vieux Fort South, but he was not the Prime Minister. In 2011, he won the election, and he became Prime Minister and Minister of Finance again. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. He was still Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. Elections was being called in 2016. In 2016, elections was being called. After Kenny Anthony had spent 15 years as Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, parliamentary representative for Vieux Fort. Vieux Fort does not have a library. Vieux Fort does not have a human resource center. Are you aware of that, Andre?
No.
We don't have a library in Vieux Fort Town, Vieux Fort South, or even in the environs of Vieux Fort. There's Vieux Fort, Latuni, Larishus, that's the entire area, Demon. There's no library, the second major town. There's no human resource center, the second major town. No facility, no hall. There's no hall in Vieux Fort. If you want to like a huge, nice community center, if you want to host an event or whatever, nothing in Vieux Fort. It's just the mothers and fathers hall that's in Larishus by Plainview Combined School, dilapidated and old, etc. That's what Vieux Fort has, All right. Kenny Anthony spent money to renovate a square, which is another story. All right. To renovate a square, and on the eve of election to try and mama guy and fool the people again in 2016, when he realized that he was going to lose the election, he said to the people he's going to build an administrative complex in Vieux Fort to ensure that the services that government, your birth certificate, your passport and whatever that you have to come up to Castries for, police record. I mean, we come up to Castries for police record. We come up for the birth certificate. Now, you don't have to come up for the birth certificate because you can apply for the birth certificate down in the south and they fill out the form and send it up, etc. I've done it before. It's just a little bit longer, but you don't have to. And now we have online services, so you can apply for it. You can go to any of the, what they call them, ICT centers. You can go in there, persons there will help you to apply online for the birth certificate, etc. So you don't have to go up to Castries for it, but people choose to. But back then, and 2016, decide he's going to build an administrative center so people can come and access the services. So no HRDC, no human resource center, no nothing, but you're going to build an administrative center to fool people. And so it was a rush thing, Andre. the land belonged to Crown land. Now he had engaged NIPRO, which is the NIC. The NIC has this building arm of it, they call it NIPRO. He had engaged NIPRO to build the administrative center. But in the rush, because as I said, I think it was about a month or a month and a half before elections were called. Rush, we building an administrative center. So NIPRO was engaged, and NIPRO engaged Reno Kajada to start excavation work. So in Vieux Fort, ça se just Vieux Fort, moi t'es là, nous ka wai ka passe tout partout. Reno ni ba, co-excavator, just opposite Uptown Supermarket. You see where the new Wasco building is there? Around that area there, St. Lucia, by the primary school, Vieux Fort Primary School. You all remember? Reno was backfilling because all he had done, Andre, there's a drain coming from the airport. The airport drain, and it passes through. You have Builder's Choice, that area there. There's a huge drain passing through, and the water goes all the way down into the sea. So that area is waterlogged. And so what Reno did was to carry a lot of materials from everywhere at the time to backfill and to, bring up the place so that they can start building an administrative center. Lo and behold, Kenny Anthony lost the election and we came into office. So when we came into office, we, looking at you again, you look at projects. Now, I am not one, I can say that to you, St. Lucia, I've said that before. I am not one who subscribed to stopping projects for stopping sakes. I think we need to stop that in this country. It brings us nowhere. I think you need to allow projects to continue, investigate, but if something is happening that is wrong, obviously, you have to stop. What was wrong with the administrative complex? Crown Lands is supposed to transfer the land over to NIC so it becomes their property so that you can build on it. All right? We found out that, number one, the property had never been transferred. So the property was still in the name of the Crown, and NIC was building on Crown property, which was illegal. But the property don't belong to you. Remember when I spoke to you about the building of this, the courthouses, etc., and why they give what we call a lease to the company so that they can have ownership of the property so that they can build it? You can't build on property that's not yours, Andre. You need to have ownership, whether it be a lease, a document saying I've transferred it to you, and afterwards, you give it back to me when you've built or whatever. But you need to have ownership so you can get insurance, you can get financing, all the legal things that way. So legally, the land was never transferred. NIC had no authority to do anything on that property because they did not have title to the land. And that is why we stopped the project, because we said, but how can you be building on property that does not belong to you? Secondly, there was no DCA approval for the project, Andre. They had not gone through DCA. Did you see the thing for the building, St. Lucia? You all ever saw what the building looked like? How many buildings, how many floors it was going to be, anything? They were busy building, but the design for the building was not complete. And just backfill we build, because it's again election gimmick. All right? So nothing in place, no DCA approval, no transfer of the land, and they were busy backfilling. And apparently it said Reno had spent how many millions of dollars. So Reno took the government to court, and the government said, well, you can't take us to court, take NIC to court. It's your fault. How is it that you have a contract with NIC to build on land that does not belong to NIC? So you and NIC figure it out.
So,
yes.
Question, NIC? Okay. NIC, I mean, how?
Let me tell you something.
I would imagine NIC would be an organization dotting the I's, crossing the T's.
All right.
But how could that happen, Nancy?
Somebody from NIC should call. Somebody from NIC should issue a statement and say what we have said is wrong. They've never refuted it. Never. And there's a right way. We were not. I don't know that in principle we were objecting to the administrative center. Now that Alan Chasney and the cabinet of ministers will have to clarify. I don't know. But I don't think on principle we objected to the center. What we objected to and why we stopped the center was the fact that you were building something that was wrong, illegal, the land did not belong to you, and we also knew that you were only doing this as an election gimmick. And the vision of Alan Chasney was, we don't need an administrative center. Andrea, we spent over $14 million with the digitization of the processes of the different services that the government offers. Do you know now you can apply for your birth certificate online, your driver's license online, you can pay your get your insure your the sticker thing, you can apply all these things online. That was us, you know. We spent the money. We started the process with the digital. We took the loan for the $14 million to start that process. And so there is no need for an administrative complex for people to go in a building anymore. There's an ITC center in Vieux Fort, in the town of Vieux Fort, by the market, old police station. You have ITC centers throughout the island. And what they've done with those ITC centers, Andrew, is to put somebody in there. And that was again from our time. A lot of them were built during Labour Party time, I have to say. But we opened them. Dr. Gail Rigobot put the infrastructure in there, and people can go to those places and get those services. So why are you coming back now and say we're going to build an ITC center to what? To pacify Dr. Kenny Anthony?
So people can get the services, or they can get assistance.
You can get assistance. Somebody is there
because, you know,
to assist you in applying and doing
as you said earlier, there are people who leave Vieux Fort to come all the way
to Cashews.
Yeah, that's just how they do their business.
Yeah.
So what about those people?
They can go to the ITC centers.
And are they aware
somebody
of that?
I don't know. I'm not the mouthpiece for the government, but I am saying to you, St. Lucians, that you can. In Vieux Fort, you can. I don't know. I think somewhere West Coast, East Coast, all of them have some ITC centers that you can. But maybe what I can do next year during my programs is to find out a lot about those services and what you can do, how to help you to be able to access certain services and so forth. But I thought it was important to say that, Andre, that we didn't stop the ITC center, the administrative center, for no reason.
And you know,
there were issues.
The Prime Minister, I think a few days ago, he said that NIC spent millions of dollars on that project.
They must have. I don't know.
Yes.
They would have to figure it out.
So he said this is an ongoing matter. It sounds to me as though.
Well, Renault did take the government to court. I don't know if it's the government or NIC. Yes. I stand corrected whichever one that Renault took to court. But I think Renault started the project. And when we stopped the project, he has taken either the government or the NIC to court.
So here we go again. So I guess what, Renault didn't know about DCA approval? He didn't know about transfer of property?
Let me tell you something. When people doing things for political reasons, Andre, these are the things, St. Lucia, that we have to stop in this country. You have to do things properly and you have to do things right. And these are some of the reasons some people will never like Alan Chasney, you know. Because Alan stands up and speaks out against these things. He believes in doing things right, proper. You know, do the thing properly. Do the thing properly. And Andrew, I do want to end with our 16 days of activism against gender violence. I'm sure you would have seen that, you know, various women, groups and entities have been trying to bring to the fore the issue of gender violence. I do want to say bravo to a young lady called Malika Compton, Laura Jean-Pierre. They did a wonderful program. I think it's called Honesty. And it's more or less to speak about these issues and women's issues and issues affecting women. Yes, St. Lucia, we went through that period. But I do have to say to you that it didn't end well. It didn't end well because when you have government ministers who still continue to disrespect women, Andre, these women, call them names, etc., using their authority and their position to denigrate women, I mean, where do we go as a society? Where do we go as a society? And for me, I think this man is a disgrace to men in this country. Because we have some really, really good men, like I'm looking at one now, St. Lucia. I mean, I'm not talking about personally, etc., because I don't know much about his personal life. But I think what I've heard about him, we have some good men in this country. And we have some men who making men regret that they are a man. You know? Some of them, they don't know any bounds. When we come here, or when you have an opportunity, discuss policy. Don't discuss people. Discuss fact, discuss substance. Don't discuss people. But this man always finds a way to insult and bully people. Call them names, And so, over the last couple of days, his latest crave has been staff members at the Department of Housing, Andre. He has targeted deliberately 2 young ladies in that department. You see, right now, Tetu show. Loteka pay moon. Ekuteka hand documents left, right, and center. Ekuteka read yon linga dying. That's what you used to do. You'd get documents and take one line, make an entire show of that one line. Never give people the full facts and the full substance. You were happy. Documents were being given to you left, right, and center. Nothing wrong with that. It was okay. But now the shoe is on the other foot. You behind everybody, jumping at those 2 young ladies who have no clue about this. None whatsoever. Because, Andre, there are certain documents that you have to be at a certain level within the public service, within the system to be able to access, right? You have to be at a certain level to be able to access. And so, you don't know where it's coming from. You have, you've chastised Timothy and Dominic. And, Andre, it's so innocent, I think. Is that Dominic happened to be at a particular place, a restaurant. Timothy ended up there, and apparently the 2 young ladies were there with whomever they were, and people came up and said hello and strike up a conversation. Took pictures of Dominic engaging, I think, or Timothy engaging with the young ladies, and send it to Richard Frederick, and all of a sudden it is that these are the people that giving Dominic and Timothy information. Okay. And this thing has gone viral. The man has taken pictures of these young girls, posted it on social media, called them names, etc. Andre, can you imagine? Don't you have girls? Don't you have children? You do. As I was driving up, I was remembering that one of your daughters is very good friend with my daughters. They went to the convent together. Would you like that if somebody take a picture of your daughter and post it on social media and call them names and accuse them of things that they know nothing about? I mean, when you were calling out Minerva Ward and talking about what you did to her when she was in her school uniform, you big, how do they call that? The people who think children. You understand? You thought that was something so nice you were talking about, telling her about which car and which jeep and what you did and how you make her cry, etc. in school uniform. You would have loved that if somebody said that about your daughter or your daughters. Upaaka Chile. Disgusting piece of human being that is. You understand? Disgusting. And then you want to come and think. So, Andrea, I am so grateful that there are people who support these young girls, and I know they are at work and they might not be listening to my show, but if somebody is listening, tell them the same way that they're trying to make an issue and saying all these nasty things about Lisa. Tell these young girls, I say, take heart just like Lisa, because that's the name of the game. You see, what they're trying to do is to bully you into silence, that you will not speak, but they're not the ones speaking, Richard. They're not.
So Nancy, let me ask you, so 2 people, if I meet you at a watering hole or something, and a pic is taken,
yes,
that means I'm in some kind of cahoots with you or something?
Yep, that's what it is now in St. Lucia. But let me tell you something. When y'all see me, don't be afraid to hug me and to lick me up and kiss me up and whatever. My Labour Party friends I'm talking to now. Because Richard pa Labour pavle, yani kome mwa ya playa ki yo still pavle. Do not allow this man to interfere in your relationships with people. And let me tell you something, some of you public servants as well. If you all see corruption is happening in this country under this government, leak it out. Send it out. Let the public know the wrongs that is happening in this country. Because when UWP was in office, some people who supported Labour felt that there were certain things they were concerned about. They leak it out. It has to go the same way for the Labour Party. Same way. Même bâton qui bat chien noir, il n'y peut pas chien blanc. Okay? If it was wrong, if it is good for the goose, it's good for the gander. But you all are this. You see the people, the sutuwears again, Andre. That's what we say. You know, the sutuwears. If what does the young ladies at their watering hole on their business, meeting some people, going up to say hi, etc., talking to them, have to do that. You'll have to take a picture and send to Richard so that he can denigrate these young ladies, right? What does that have to do? And Andre, let me tell you something. Some people call me because these young ladies do have support and people who are supporting them, and tell me, that one of these young ladies, when the minister got into office, there was an awards ceremony and was staff award. He gave one of them a voucher for most hardworking, etc., for about $500 or something. Good people, hardworking staff, people who go through and through. But what did they do? They've transferred one of them, and I don't think these children have access to the system anyway, like I said, because they're lower level staff. These contracts and these things, these things go through the higher ups. They don't have access to smart stream and be able to access these kind of things. But you don't know where it's coming from. So you're going to, hit on these children and whatever. And I want to call on somebody. Now, he's not my friend and we've not spoken. But somebody told me that Leo Clark is godfather to one of those girls. Mr. Leo Clark, if you're listening or somebody is listening, please, if the child is your godchild, call that big bad bully and tell him leave your goddaughter alone. Do not allow him to bully your goddaughter, who's a hard-working public servant and has nothing to do with what is going on there, to calling out the child name and making people, how people look at you sideways now, Andre, etc., and thinking, these girls, da-da-da, etc., and whatever. I mean, come on. And then again, where is the CSA, Andre? Isn't that the role of the union? The CSA? Isn't the CSA supposed to now, by now, should have issued a statement, said something about what is going on with these young public servants? Is it because everybody is afraid of Richard Frederick? Because that's what Buffalo said. You listen to Buffalo, who's having his protest about what's happening in Serenity Park. He said that when he asked the last time questions about some whatever it is that was happening, the rails were painted and whatever, everybody went moo. Once they heard Richard Frederick name, everybody went. Everybody in this country is afraid of that man. I am not afraid of you. I am not afraid of you. And there are many people who are not afraid of you. That's why they're sending us the information. Okay, so that is why I continue to ask the question, sir. What happened to the Proud program, and where are the staff from the Proud program? Where are they? And the 9 people, while you are busy accusing people of everything, you brought over 9 people who are your supporters and your constituents into the Proud office. You want to toute la semaine journée, you like a file zone, you want to phone, come with chewing gum, you want to WhatsApp, whatever. Okay, just to earn a salary at our expense. Okay, at our expense. And then you have senior staff who has been transferred from that ministry, Andre. The chief housing officer has been transferred. The chief accountant was transferred. The local government officer was transferred. The director is being replaced by somebody who's supposed to be a cousin of the PS. The admin assistant has been stripped of all her duties and everything. Is now going to a contracted employee, people they're bringing in. So what they're doing, they're sidelining the senior public servants. He's cleansed. They've made a cleansing there, Andre, so that they can go in and do all their bubble and do all the nastiness in the ministry, because you now bring in your people. They will not talk. That's what you think. That's what you think. Housing staff are being asked to transfer. When somebody called me and told me, let me tell you, Andre, the kind of hell these people are going through, St. Lucia, I feel for them. And CSA, it's time to wake up. It's time for you to offer proper representation. You see the lady who's the president? I know you is a Labour, because I saw your picture with your star and your t-shirt and your thing at the last election, etc., on a motorbike, etc. We know you're Labour, but you're now president of the Civil Service Association. And we know that the president of the SLPYO, who's also on the CSA committee executive, is also a Labour. But I'm telling y'all were not placed there because y'all were labor. Y'all were placed there because somebody thought you had it in you to stand up to the government and to represent the public servants of this country. Do your job. Do your job. But the staff out housing is going through hell, Andre, and between the PS and the minister, nobody can figure out which one is the devil. Yon say Satan, yon say demu. Pehon Bahab. Okay? And so, Madam PS, I am going to ask you again, and this time don't go and cry in the toilet. You don't have a private toilet so people can see you. Don't go and cry in the toilet. Did Mr. Colin Hippolyte execute works at the Monrepo Cemetery for $70,000? Did he? And when we talk about cemetery works, when you look at the contract, Andre, he was not contracted because Richard Frederick said, oh, while they're talking, we're building tombs. Latuni, they're building some tombs. There are some genuine contractors there, as I've said. But what they've done in between the genuine contractors, they've put in some names and given contract for people who don't even know where Latuni Cemetery is or Monrepo Cemetery is. So did Mr. Colin Hippolyte execute work at the Monrepo Cemetery? And I'm not talking about tomb because you're perfect tomb. It says cemetery pavement works. Did Mr. Lawrence Joseph for $99,000 execute clearance and preparation works at the Monrepo Cemetery? And not tomb, clearance work, that's what he said, for $99,000. And everybody in Monrepo can tell you there's been only one contractor from day one, Lara's Construction. PS Lot Mun Poko Mutila. May you have a contract ekada ha henpi. Did Mr. Sylvester Edgar execute preparation works again? And all of them is the same thing, Andre. Cut and Pacey for $99,000 at the Monrepo Cemetery. That's free so far. Free. Did Mr. Justin Descart execute works at Latuni, preparatory works again at Latuni for $98,000? Did Miss Josephine Hamilton execute preparatory work at Latuni? These are the questions that we want to ask. Did these people execute any works at this cemetery? And can you show proof? You are the permanent secretary. You are the officer in charge. The PS, the minister can say, I don't know anything about that. Your signature is on the control and under those contracts. Dr. Cordelia Ambrose, you owe us an explanation, the public. You need to come out and say what Mrs. Charles has said there is a categorical lie, and I have documents to show. Here's the evidence. These are the pictures to show. These people did execute work at Monrepo and Latuni. Come out and say it. I stand corrected, but I'm asking you the question. I'm asking the two ladies, Miss Mombelli and Tracy Fulgens. Y'all were the signatories to the contract. Y'all work at the ministry. Y'all from Denry, same place as Mr. Edgar. Did y'all see any works being executed? Y'all are public servants too. Ekpa di say PS like if there's sign. Y'all are public servants too. Y'all names are on the documents. We want to hear the answers. Come out and say Dematimwe, vin dematimwe. Se sa namode, vin dematimwe. Samwe dia pavwe, vin dematimwe. My good friend Jeremiah Norbert, vin dematimwe. Your people are asking you. You must make a statement on this. Can you imagine, Andrea? For months we've been talking and the minister has been, the MP, for Monrepo has been silent. Silent. You must come out. You must say something. You must say, yes, the people actually did the work. I know them, and they're from Castries, so I don't know how you know them, because you're pas Monrepo, you're pas Miku. You're not just Castries, sa kawes na CDC, sa kawes te la, je Castries yo ye. So come out, Jeremiah, and say, yes, they did the work. But I want you to know that if you come out and say that, my partner, young Monrepo people are there waiting for you, asking you, how is it possible that we have never seen these people? You coming out and say, yes, they did the work. And secondly, if they did do the work, why you take people all the way from Castries to come down to Monrepo when all the fellas sitting there, Andre, no work, nothing ain't happening. You understand? Small community, all high unemployment. Why none of them got a job? None of them didn't get a penny from working in that Monrepo cemetery. None of them. And you not saying anything, Jeremiah? You, the Minister for Crime Prevention, remember that. It starts with you. It starts with you. Mr. Ndingo Emab, you signed the certification of works in the ministry. Answer your name. Show the pictures. Messieurs, pas point blame by moon. Sou siye document ou suppose ni portwe ek evidence pou mouche Mr. Ndingo Emab ou suppose ni evidence pou mouche se moun lan fait travail la. Sorti dehors ek parler because c'est who qui certified the works. You certified the works. We have a cabal in St. Lucia, St. Lucia. We have a cabal. All right? And it's not good. It's not good. And it brings me to my good friend Ernest Hilaire. What can I say? Oh, St. Lucia, I want to say something to you. It's never my intention on this show to anger anyone with the truth that I provide. Now, I am very mindful and very careful what I say. Because you see, not only do I know that God is going to judge me, but I have a judge sitting right in front of me too. Andre is a no-nonsense, no-papi show person. And Andre has said to me time and time again, even before we started the show, Miss Charles, I don't want you to come and slander anybody on my radio station. I don't want you to come and tell lies about people on my radio station. So that's why, St. Lucia, when I come here, I'm very careful. I'm very careful. I come with my little documents. I show it to him, etc., to make sure that when I say something or when I ask a particular question, I can substantiate. Okay? So I promise you that at all times, I will substantiate whatever I say with documents. And I will never, ever, ever be too big to say that I am wrong. I always stand corrected. Because sometimes, Andre, you've given information, you even have documents in front of you, and maybe that's not what it means. Maybe the document is fake, maybe it's not. So, I'm never ever too big to say that I am wrong. And I'll tell you something. When Ernest Hilaire stand in Parliament and say that he has no dreams of going to bed and dreaming of becoming Prime Minister, neither do I. Neither do I. You know when I go to bed what I think about? What type of St. Lucia am I creating? Or am I influencing in creating for the 4 children that I have? For the many nieces and the nephews that I have? What type of St. Lucia am I creating or influencing for them? What type of example am I setting in terms of standing up for my country so that my children and my children's children can follow in my footsteps and said, my mother, Nancy Charles, was an advocate for St. Lucia and I will be an advocate, or my grandmother was an advocate. She stood up for her country. She stood up for what was right. She stood up against corruption, against wrongdoing. That is what I think about when I go to sleep, Ernest Hilaire. That is what I think about. I think about my country, St. Lucia, and what I can do to make it better. That is what I think about. I don't think about how I'm going to fill my pockets. I think about how I am going to work hard and make an honest living. So every dollar that I touch, it will be blessed. Because I can certainly say to you that when you have money and you didn't work for it and you didn't earn it and you cheated your way on it, you can never be blessed. Never. So don't come to Parliament and try and cry your sad story and say, I am a good boy. I am not doing anything wrong. I want to be the best minister ever. I try to be the best MP. Da da da. You come and cry. Rubbish! Actions speaks louder than words. It is your actions. So, St. Lucia, what is the meaning of defamation? To defame somebody is to lie or to make a false statement or give false information on somebody that hurts their character. That's what defamation is. I want to ask you the question. Did I hurt Ernest's character? Or did Ernest's actions hurt his character? Which one is it? So when you take a particular action and I bring it to the attention of the public that this is the action that you have undertaken, is me that hurts your character, not you. So when Martinez comes out and said that we sold passport underpriced, not the right price, and you all try to vilify him, Martinez is hurting the country, the reputation. Martinez kifayebe zokifei. Martinez brought to the fore the action that we have taken that is bringing down the reputation of this country. So it's not Martinez, so it's not me, my friend, it's you and your actions that has hurt your character, not me. So over all these years, all these allegations, all this information that has been brought to the fore about you, and it's me, pak mo vle jump. Oh, pak mo ki pliba. Bring it on, Ernest. Bring it on. Because, ooh, I'm so afraid. I'm shaking in my boots. You mean, after all these years, you cannot come. And 2 weeks ago I called you out, 2 weeks ago and last week again. You had ample time. You have the press briefing. You have the media. You have talk shows. You're not calling one of them. You're not standing in front of one media house to defend yourself against anything that has been said about you. The documents that has been presented to say it's a lie, it's fake, it's not factual. You have not been able to stand and answer one question to your name, but you will use the privilege that is offered to you in Parliament, and you go in Parliament. Everything is in Parliament. CIP, when they ask you difficult questions, you know what you did? I'll give a statement in Parliament. That's why you have immunity. That's why you can say any shit, any crap, any nonsense, and nobody can hold you accountable. Come out in the public and talk. Come. I'm in the public. Come. You say you're a fighter? I'm a fighter too. Guasme Soti. I'm from the country. That's how y'all call us, country bookie. That's what I am. I'm a fighter too. I know how to fight. Because you see, some of y'all think your name is sacred and sainty, and other people's name are not sacred and sainty. So y'all can say whatever y'all want about other people because they are nobodies and stuff. But y'all name them your mansiane nozo. Woo! All fall down. Ebe mo mansiane no. You know where I am. Come out in the public, because everything that I have said has been documented. Jufali was documented. West Indies cricket, documented. The Auditor General's report of the UK High Commission under your tenure, documented. The Range Rover affairs, documented. 2 of them, day, documented. The bank account that is not a joint bank account, but both you and Jufali sign on it, documented. The unaccounted funds from the money that Jufali gave to put in that account, documented. The BMAX affair, and the man who was a criminal, went to jail, was in jail for 4-5 months, sitting in jail, but yet still, you were the one who introduced him to St. Lucia to build the housing project, documented. CIP and Galaxy, and you changed the contract, you put more files, and over $2.7 billion that Galaxy has collected under our name, documented. Pa mwen ki di an yan about se bay sa. Tout la an le papier. So tell me which one of them you taking me to court for? Which one? Which one? Every single scandal in this country, your name is behind it. Over the years, your name is malchance ou malchance kon. Gwa moun se toujou ni abay kadi. Soit ou pate la yo ba mentionné non Andre. Ki mwen se pa non mwen ki an le pese document. Mate la. Lente piti. Ek yo ay di maman, oh, mwen te wè nan si tel kote. Même si mwen blow ek mate la. Gwa maman mwen still kabat mwen kadi mwen sou pate la. Yo ba di kay mentionné non. Matela. So stop trying to make yourself a victim and come and cry a sad story. Ain't gonna work, my friend. Okay? Your luck has run out. That not working no more. People have seen through the BS. People have seen through it. You can't con anybody anymore. Oh, I'm a good boy and I've worked hard for everything I have, etc., etc. Come and answer your name. Come and answer your name, because I know how to fight too. Okay? I know how to fight too. I am right now on Rev Up 97.1 FM. Serve me my lawyer's paper here. I'm not afraid. My house is in Grace, right by the road. Serve me my lawyer's paper there. Everybody knows me and they know where I live. Meaning, nice pay. I'm waiting for it. But let me tell you, St. Lucia, one thing they will never do. They'll never silence me and they'll never intimidate me. Never. Once I speak the truth and once I speak facts, you can't silence me and you cannot intimidate me. Nonsense. Nonsense. This is my country. Mine too. You love it and I love it. We have different ways of showing how we love it, but it's my country too. So bring it on. I'm ready. You have a question?
Yes, I have a question. I have a very important one. In your discourse a while ago, you were saying that sometimes you may get information and the information may be a little skewed, right? I don't want to misquote you. What's to that effect? Right. And you said that if information is brought to you, you will stand corrected.
Of course.
Yes, you stand corrected. Okay. The problem with that is that when the thing goes out, assuming you got, when I say you, I'm making a general statement.
Yep.
Incorrect information, and you put it out there, and information maybe that could maybe bring the person's reputation into disrepute.
Agreed.
Right. So to say you stand corrected, it sounds like to me like, well, okay, I got it wrong. We have to move on. But how does somebody make amends for those kinds of things? That's why you see some people want to go to court, because they figure as though, you hurt me, you embarrassed me, you harmed me in some kind of way.
And I agree, and I understand.
So when you say I stand corrected, don't you think that's a sort of
it sounds like it's a cop out, but it's not, and I'll tell you why.
Not a cop out. Okay, go ahead.
I'll tell you why. Because for me personally, I don't know about other people, and I'm talking about me personally. When I prepare for my show, I make sure if I am going to say certain things, I am very careful how I say it. That's number one. I'm very mindful of the words that I use. And it's not to say that I have not made mistake in the past. Because I remember a couple of weeks ago when I said that the commissioner had fired the man, and it was choice of words, the man was not fired. His contract, he was not brought back, etc. And I made that correction as well. So you are always, I think the law always gives you that opportunity as well to make correction, to apologize, and to make a correction if you made a statement that is false, and especially if you know that the information you are giving is false. And that's the difference. If you knowingly know that the information you are giving is false or is wrong, that's not right. But if you have been, let's say, given a document, and you see the document seems to be authenticated. Now, I have not been given any fake documents, but I'm just saying, because these things do happen as well. You understand? And you have been given a document, it seems authenticated, because now with technology and everything, and you're stamping, they're doing all kind of things, You understand? So, but if you have been given a document and then you were wrong, and the document was not right, or it was misinterpreted, then you have to correct yourself. So, and that's what we do as a human being. You have to correct yourself.
Educate us a little here. Say, for example, you have to go to court to prove that you didn't deliberately give information, right? That you knew to be wrong.
Right.
How can something like that be proven?
I don't know. I've never been to court.
Of law,
hopefully, when I go to court, I'll let you know, Andrew.
You say you've never been to court?
Never been to court in my life.
Are you serious?
No, I've never.
Well, so
I need to start studying law.
So this may be the first time.
Maybe. This may be the first time.
Because I'm just asking myself, how can a court of law prove that somebody knowingly disseminated information that they know was incorrect? How do you prove something? Because you could easily say, I didn't know. That's what it was given to me.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, that's for the lawyers to figure out. That's why we pay lawyers and so on.
So you've never been to court?
Never been to court in my life.
Well, as they say, this is the first time for everything.
Apparently. Right? But Andrea, we'll open the lines. We'll give you a lot of time today. So Andrew will give you the numbers for both the WhatsApp platform and the main line. We'll open the lines. We'll take your calls. as I said, this is, I just thought I should clarify these things and close off the year on these things so that we can begin next year in a different time frame and a different time zone. So, Andrew, please feel free to give the number and let's open up the line.
Okay, the fixed line number is 572-9710. That's the fixed line, 572-9710. Or the WhatsApp, it is 287-0971, 287-0971. And let me let the listeners know, Nancy, I think it's very important that if anybody is making any statement and they can't support what they're saying, they don't have any proof or evidence, I will certainly cut you off, okay? All right, you have somebody on the line.
Right, let me put on my headphones. Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling Meet the Opposition.
Yes, good morning, Andre.
Morning.
You told me Nancy told me to call back again today so that you could continue because it was out of time.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm calling back and want to continue from there. I have been hearing, because I meant to, from what I heard on the news this week, I meant to say that I remember saying, is it a law now that people can say anything about anybody? And I listened to Andre a while ago. Is it lawful that you can mention people's names and say things about people, whether it is right or wrong, and so on air and so on, nothing happens? Nothing can happen to you.
No, you can't just come on the air and say anything you want about anybody. Call anybody any name. I mean, I see on social media people, I mean, caller, you know the number of times people call me volley. Even Richard Frederick last week called me volley, and they call me octopus, and they call me all kinds of names and whatever. And what did I steal? Have you heard what I stole? What did I steal? Allegedly, apparently. What?
Well, that is kind of what they say, call that mépris.
Yeah.
But when you talk about
that is not a mépris. That is not a mépris. When you call me a thief, that's not a mépris.
That's people call you volley, people volley, that's mépris. Anyway.
No, that is defamation.
Okay. That's defamation of character. Then you have to prove that I am a volley.
That's correct.
Okay.
All right.
I agree. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying, to put it on the radio and so on, isn't there a law that we should?
I am not sure. I'm not a lawyer, like I said to Andre. So, I don't know. I don't know what the law says, but I know there is a law against defamation of somebody's character. But don't ask me what the law says and what it entails, etc. That's not my forte. But I do know that every country has laws. It's called libel. Yeah, has laws that protects people against certain things. Yes.
Yeah, because Andre was saying a while ago that when you say this, even if you go back and you say you were sorry, but it is out there already. You have already.
Damage is done.
Well, the damage already done. You know, so where is the excuse for that? I know, well, we believe in God forgiving and we should forgive, but at the same time you have spoiled a person's character by saying these things. Okay. Another thing I want to go on with is the hospital beds.
Right.
I know of that situation from Victoria, and it went over to OKE. I thought it would have been better because we have a new hospital. I thought they would have more rooms, more beds, but it seems it is the same thing.
Well, I have to say to you, caller, that EU, although it was a bigger facility, it had less bed than VH.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it had less bed. Apparently, it was done in such a way to provide more services. But I don't know that it was to provide more beds, maybe more services. But it had less beds, yes.
Then why, the only thing I could see they should do is try and open and put more facility, more place for more beds. Because it is the same thing that was happening at Victoria Hospital. People lying down. I could remember when you all were there. The former, not you all, the government before, they showed pictures of people lying down in the corner on the floor. And
that was the accident, and that would have been the accident and emergency. I saw a picture of it once. There were two pictures that were circulating at the time. One of them was a fake photo. It was actually of something in Dominica, but one was a real photo that somebody was waiting in the accident and emergency room that wasn't on the ward. That was the accident and emergency room, and they showed a picture of somebody lying on the floor. I saw that when we were in government, and I think the Prime Minister at the time did call the hospital to find out what was going on, because the A&E has always been, jam-packed, etc., and so forth. So, yes, I do remember that call. So, but what I mean, the issue is that if you are sick and you go to the hospital and you are then admitted, you sick. You cannot be admitted and in a wheelchair or lying in the hallway waiting to lie down on a bed because you're sick. Well, they might as well send you home and lie down on your bed.
That's what I'm saying. It has been happening from Victoria Hospital. They turn people away. They say there's no bed.
There's no bed.
It has been happening.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have to try to work towards is getting the places to have more beds, more room for people. And that would uplift the standard of the hospital, Then you said another thing about, I heard you say, St. Lucia is not a safe place to live.
No, I said St. Lucia is not a happy place.
Happy place?
Yes.
Okay. What would prevent it from being happy?
Because people are just sad. Everywhere you go, people are sad.
What makes people sad? So sad?
All kinds of things. I think when I interact with people, a lot of people, and I have to say to you that the reason I made that statement, because of late I have yet to come across people who are just really happy and whatever. It's just one complaint after another. If it's not about healthcare, it's about money, it's about the cost of living, it's about the high cost of this, it's about crime. People feel unsafe, and I'm telling you, St. Lucia is not a safe place to live either. Well, I didn't say that, but I am saying that now. St. Lucia is not a safe place to live.
The earth itself is not a safe place.
But that's a biblical thing you're talking about. That's a separate issue. But we elected a government. We elect governments. Let me say governments. Governments to and on the premise that they're going to ensure that they put sufficient plans, policies, monies in place for the security of the country. And St. Lucia is not safe. How can the young boy be going on a truck, earning a living on his goods vehicle, and every time like that you have people stopping them on the road, shooting them, making the boy lose his life, earning an honest living? It's not a safe place. It's not a safe place.
Sad, Nancy, but I don't believe the government of the day or the government before would ever want like that to see that happen to St. Lucia.
But we have to put pressure on them, my darling, both UWP and Labour, whoever is there. We have to put pressure on them. We shouldn't make excuses for them.
We
should not. We should put pressure on them and say to them, do something. You are in charge. We are paying you. Every month you get a salary. Do something. Whether you Labour or Flambeau, do something. That's what we should be doing. And this is not about party.
Yes,
that's not about party. That's about us.
We all are in the situation.
Yes. But thank you, caller. I think we have another caller.
What thing I will say, I just want to tell you one thing. I feel so. You said people are not happy. I am happy because there is the eye wing is open,
and you can see.
I am able to go there because where I used to pay $150 to the private doctors, I went there and I paid nothing, and I'm happy.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord for that.
I spent a lot of money on my side. All right.
We are grateful for that. Yes.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
All right. We have another call.
Just 1 second. I just have a quick question. Why wouldn't you sue somebody for calling you a thief?
Oh, don't worry about that. Come in. Yes.
All right. Next call. Good morning.
Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling Meet the Opposition.
Good morning, Sister Nancy, and good morning, Andrew. How you guys doing?
Good morning, caller. We're doing very well. Morning. How about you?
I'm good.
And caller, let's start with that. There's something they say. Is it compliments of the season?
Compliments. Merry Christmas to each and one of you. Those who celebrate Christmas, those who don't, season's greetings.
Compliments of the season's greetings.
Merry Christmas to you and Nancy and Andre and to Rev Up St. Lucia.
Same to you, sir. Same to you. Thank you.
Rev Up St. Lucia is becoming the most popular radio station, and I want to say bravo to you, Andre and Tony, for doing a tremendous job for building this radio station from scratch. I want to say two things.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I have been a victim of politicians threatening to sue me. And I would go back down memory lane, and I could remember vividly when this whole Jack Greenberg issue was on under the Kenny Anthony administration, Kenny Anthony had an address to the nation and he threatened to sue me. He claimed defamation, and that is a tactic of Caribbean politicians. When they are losing the argument and they realize they are cornered rat, I would say, they use that defamation or that lawsuit to try to cower you in silence. And so at the time, I stood my ground when Kenny Anthony tried to threaten to sue me for defamation. I stood my ground. And I want to say to you, Sister Nancy, stand your ground.
For sure.
Because that is the trick politicians use to silence you from speaking. Secondly, if this government is serious, if this Labour Party government is serious, rather than focus on coming on a Thursday night, Richard Frederick, and disrespect women and disrespect people because they're in opposition of you and your government, your failed policy. Because when you look at Central Castries is in a total mess. The city is messy. The city is deplorable. Nothing serious is happening in the constituency of Castries Central. When you go around Castries Central, people are suffering from lack of housing, etc., etc. Profit the opportunity, Labour Party government, to put medication at the hospital. Profit the opportunity to put beds at the hospitals, because somebody sent me a video. I just didn't put it up on social media because I don't rush to put things up on social media. But I saw this gentleman went to the OKEU hospital, bawling on the floor in pain, and not one single doctor came to his rescue. I don't know what transpired. And these are the things, and I'm not blaming the doctors and nurses, I'm blaming Musa. Rather than make excuses. And I'm saying what is hurtful, you have Labour Party hacks defending a government when they should be putting pressure on that government to put medication at the hospitals, to put proper beds, sufficient beds at the hospital, to ensure that they're not saying things which is a scam. And I want to say two things. This 80 Golden Plus program is a scam, because when the government of the Labour Party advertised that, look here, when you become 80, you can go to the hospital or the health centers, you get free medical care, only to find out that persons who bring their relatives at the hospital who are 80 years and up, they give them a huge bill and they wonder what the hell happened.
It took Riani a whole year. Okay, a whole year after they've been advertising and pushing it down people's throat. Now that people have come out and said this thing is a scam, it doesn't work, it took him a whole year to come out and say, oh, well, the service was never intended for the major hospital, it's only at the health centers. 1 year later,
and that was a lie. That was debunked. Because when people go to the health center, there was no bill for any health center. So under any UWP or Labour Party administration, when you're 80, when you go to the health center, you don't pay. So for Riani Zito at the time to call Newspin and to lie and say, oh, it's for health centers, they never said for hospitals. When the ad, even when you listen to it, says, if you're 80 years and older and you go to the hospital, you do not pay, you get free medical care. That's a lie, that's a scam.
And caller, you heard about Turning Point as well? And I was so happy, that Sarah was on the line at the same time that Riani was lying to the nation, saying that they have transferred the services of Turning Point to the chest wing at Victoria. And Sarah was on the line to say that's a lie. And then we got calls after calls afterwards. And even a staff member, you saw the photo, Andre, of the staff member standing in front of government building saying how there's no Turning Point. I mean, come on. Don't come and lie in people's face like this.
Exactly. There's no Turning Point. Turning Point has been closed for months. And then Riani Zito will call a radio station and lie. The second scam of this Labour Party government is this youth economy. They're giving young people the impression that you can get free money if you want to open up a business. That's another scam, another lie. There's no free money. From my understanding that you enroll in this youth economy, Andre, it's partly a loan and partly the government give you a little something through the Senator Development Bank. But young people, it's no free money. And the next thing about this youth economy is, when those young persons get those monies, where is the follow-up? Where is the entrepreneurial guidance so that they can there's a guidance procedure so that okay, you give them the start of the business, and okay, you can ensure that the business thrives. There's no follow up. So
but even the economy, caller, not to cut you short, but even the economy, because I have said on this show, I don't have any objections to the youth economy in principle and what it's supposed to do. However, if you're going to encourage me to start a business, Andre, business runs by customers, money. People need to have money. If I'm going to go into the business of selling cups, for example, people need to have the money to be able to buy the cup. So the government has a responsibility to create the economic environment that people can have the money to come to my business to buy the cup. So I have a very good business idea, yes. But if people don't have money to purchase the service that I'm offering, you're still putting me at a disadvantage. So what the problem I have is the economy is not able to support those small businesses. People don't have money, caller. Mon broke your panila, Jean, you pass again.
Exactly, and from my information, more than half of those young persons who joined the youth economy cannot survive because their business went under, and a lot of them left the country. So
well, we can't substantiate that, so I'll find out about it because I do have people within the youth economy who are my friends. So I don't want to lambaste it, but I'll find out about that as well.
But from my information, my vantage point, another scam, another lie with regards to this youth economy. Another scam again.
You have another call? Yeah, we have another call, so make it fast, caller.
Yeah, another scam is the 2.5% levy. Philip here, the Prime Minister, said that the 2.5% levy was for health and security. Only for solutions to find out that it was for a loan, a condition, or a CDB loan. Where is that 2.5% money is going to? When we have poor health care, when our roads are in the worst condition ever, people are losing their vehicles are being damaged because they cannot have, when they damage their vehicles, parts are expensive, and you have a minister of infrastructure in the name of Stephenson King, slipping on him in Parliament on the job.
Oh, racism. Anyway, caller. Yes. Anyway, caller.
Bless weekend.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much. You have another caller. Good morning, caller. Thank you for holding and thank you for calling Mid the Opposition. Compliments of the season to you. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, and same to you, Nancy and Andre.
Thank you, sir. Oh, my good friend Alpha, I know you're listening. Alpha, make sure you call me today.
Yeah, and looking forward to that show next year, and Andre, and make sure that station could move from 8 to 5. But thank you.
From what time?
I beg your pardon?
What time you said it can move from what?
You know, we have to move higher levels.
Oh, okay.
I will put radio for higher levels.
All right.
Yeah. You know, because we have certain radio stations, they're so biased, they're not dealing with the issues, they're just defending the government and calling people liar. I don't have time for that. The truth of the matter is, people are tired, and Sister Jean, you have to admit people are sad in this time. The festive season approaching, and there's not anybody that could go and buy a pound of flour, a pound of rice, not even sugar. Things are rough in this country because the Prime Minister lied to us. The 2.5% is a problem, okay? And plus, for the motorists, again, it's another problem because he takes that 150 from us and all our roads are matching up. There's no soulagement, and you have a Minister for Infrastructure. Join that the Labour Party colleague by lying. He was a minister in the UWP regime, and he was not doing nothing. You understand? And I didn't blame Guy Joseph, because if it wasn't for Guy Joseph, most of the roads would not pave, and the potholes would be plugged. Now let's move on. Nancy, a question I want to ask you. We have ties with Venezuela?
St. Lucia? Yes, we do. We have diplomatic relations with Venezuela. We have
South American countries, right?
Sorry?
Ecuador, right?
I am not too sure about Ecuador, but I do know some South American countries. I can't be specific, but I do know Venezuela, yes.
Okay. With South American countries, And we also had the Russian wanted to do business in St. Lucia. Right or wrong?
The who?
The Russians.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the Iranians, the Venezuelans, the Syrians, and you go down the line. That means the government aligned with these people. But praise God, a few days ago, you see what happened to Syria with
Yeah, we saw.
Assad?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened to Assad. Freedom for the Syrians in Syria. He was fled by a private, I'm not sure if it's a private plane, because what I saw the plane on YouTube. It actually invaded radar. They couldn't pick it up. But praise God, he arrived in Moscow. Say, you're telling me that's the Lucia Labour Party, and I will support Bermuda at any time when he is to call the Labour Party a communist government. And he was right. Because when you look at where we're heading, this is where we're heading.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you look at how the former president, dealt with Syrians, Andre, the former president of Syria killed millions of people.
Yeah. Yeah, it was sad. It was
A
sad.
young man protest for his right. Put the man in prison. And they have a prison they call the slaughterhouse. Andre, it's sad. You have to do your research. It breaks my heart. That's why I had to call. To let St. Lucians know where we're heading under that St. Lucian Labour Party.
Thank you very much, caller. But let me tell you, as long as people like you and I, Andre, and other right-thinking St. Lucians are around, we will not allow that to happen to our country. Exactly. So I can certainly say to the Labour Party, even if you're thinking about it, because that's what they're trying right now, caller. You're not off base, because the fact that every time somebody dares to try to speak out, they threaten you, they threaten to sue you, they threaten your family, they threaten to take your job, they call you out, they use their talk shows to bully you, put your name on social media, etc. They're trying to silence you into allowing them to continue with this corruption and the raiding of the treasury in this country. But when people like you, myself, and other right-thinking St. Lucians stand up, that can never happen in this country. So tell them, think again, caller.
Nancy, what goes up must come down.
Must.
Because I listen to Sister Jane. The people are sad, man. I never see that in my entire life in the history of my, bringing up the country the way it is.
Caller, let me tell you something. Hold on, caller.
He never know what's happening.
Caller, we have 300 Spanish workers working at St. James now. Do you know that?
Yeah,
we have over 300 Indians working at St. Jude's. Do you know that? Galaxy has over 100 and something Chinese workers down in there. Namalco is Trinidad and Tobago. All their trucks, all the heavy equipment, drivers, everything is from Trinidad and Tobago. The prison, the courthouse that is being built, Trinidadian contractor. GPH, foreign people, foreign contractor. Where is the money that is circulating in this country that St. Lucians can get, that we can be happy and that we can have a good Christmas? Where is the money? There's no money circulating in St. Lucia. All our money going overseas. So you're right, we're not happy.
Yeah, we're not happy in this country.
Anyways.
Because when you really look at Mr. Reno, when he went on DBS and say he can't get workers.
He can't get workers. And that's why, and that's the justification for bringing Chinese
to work in this country. And there's some of them rude, even the contract Malarco, how they calling them. There's people rude again when the bus drivers talk to them, trying to make it possible. They've been rude. Is Lucia alone that happening according to Ernest Hilaire?
Well, caller, we have another caller.
And you know what that really hurt me again? I was told right now, the port, how they call them, DPH or how they call them? You know, right now, we can't even bring our containers to that wharf there right now. You have to do that research. I was told when the containers come right now, they're going St. Vincent before it reach because they are already clearing there to do the work and the pots. Now,
Well, caller, we'll look into that next year. But we have another call.
And say if it's true or false.
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing that. People selling on the containers, whatever, and it goes to St. Vincent before it come here, or because we don't have space because they're building our port.
Well, we'll look into that, caller. Thank you so much for calling. All the best for the season. We have another call. Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling Meet the Opposition.
Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, Andre.
Good morning, caller. How are you?
Okay, I'm doing pretty good.
Compliments of the season.
Thank you so much, and many happy returns to you.
Thanks.
I would just like to make a few comments on what I believe may be your first caller, but it was a lady contributor. I think I know her voice. I think she's an upstanding citizen in the country.
I think I've heard her voice all over the place.
Yeah.
I like her, you know. I like her.
Yeah.
Is it Teacher Jean? That's her name? I like Teacher Jean, you know.
In her deliberation, I could tell clearly that she has a bias to a certain side by the number of times.
But that's her choice. That's her rightful choice, caller.
Yeah, I know it's
that's
okay.
Her
it's
choice.
okay.
Yes.
I'm getting to it. By the number of times she had to correct herself, and instead of saying from y'all to the government. So I got an idea where the bias was. I'd like to. She touched on three things. I think the first one was name calling and slander, libel, whatever, right? I just want to remind, because I can't recall ever hearing her call when the person who is now crying foul in Mr. Ernest Hilaire in the house on numerous occasions where he said things that were not right, and when he was asked to withdraw, say I withdraw it, but I say it already.
Now, what about the Thursday show? She doesn't call the Thursday show and say don't call people names and call.
Yeah, well,
say
I'm
these
not even
nasty
going to go
things,
there.
huh?
I'm going to. I'm dealing with the person who is now threatening, right? I'm dealing with that person. He was one of those in the house who made several slanderous statements because of the protection of the house. And when he was asked to withdraw, he said, "Well, I say it already." So I didn't hear her voice and come to say anything, because that's the little problem I have, as an upstanding citizen of the country. You are not supposed to be so heavily biased that you cannot say anything about your side. And I was very disappointed in that. She made mention also of the beds going way back to everybody. Yes, we are aware of that. But the last administration did say more than one occasion that we were broke. I remember that a lot. And he also said that the hospital, the OKEU, would have less bed space. So what the plan was to augment several health centers around the place so that they now could have some more, bedrooms, so that it would take the pressure off the main facility. That was where we were going. But because of propaganda and different things, the people saw differently, and the government was booted out. Okay? And she made a third point. What was the third point?
The eye clinic, I think she said something about the eye clinic.
Yeah, but it was more in broad terms. But all of these things that I remember she saying she was very happy now she was able to go and get free eye care. But all that free eye care was there already.
Oh yeah, we've been doing that for years now.
And then it suddenly stopped. And then it has now resumed. But that was not the gist of her point. I can't remember.
The same people who stop it is the same people who put it back.
Exactly, because that's what they do. They stop what they find, and then they come back and they reintroduce it with a new ribbon, a new wrapping. So it appears that it was them who did it. But so far, I'm not going to ever say the government has done nothing, because no government does nothing. They do things. But who benefits from it at the end of the day is one of the main questions you need to ask yourself. And they just seem to be doing a lot of copy and paste with new ribbon. Yeah. That's what I would like to say for now.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you for your support for the year. Merry Christmas and blessings for you.
Same to you. And same to you, Andre.
Same to you,
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
We have another caller. Thank you, caller. Thank you for calling Meet the Opposition.
Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning.
And good morning, Brother Paul.
Good morning, my brother. All is well there?
Not so bad.
Compliments of the season to you, sir.
Yeah, I'm coming there, Nancy. Thank you very much.
I think he'll be the last caller.
Okay.
Yes.
Make sure you don't take too long to be the last caller.
No. Very quick. I'm manning a ghost speech.
Let me say that I thank this station, Rev Up, for sure, for keeping St. Lucian in touch, and particularly you, Nancy, you're doing a pretty good job so far.
Thank you, Colin.
Let St. Lucian know what is happening, because probably without you, and even Andrea, when Andrea and Tony have his final stay on the show, I listen to them. That's one of the most interesting one I like to listen. They saying it as if it's particular Andrea. Andrea is a man who doesn't tolerate nonsense and he's on his things. So I wish you guys a blessed New Year, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and all together. God willing, hopefully next year we can continue discuss the issues that matter to the people of St. Lucia.
Colin, Andrea, and I will pass for a drink over the holidays.
That's nice, very nice. Let me just say that I listen to a lady, and I have been listening to her. She's Andre's good friend, Teacher Jean, and she said she's happy now, and let me tell you. And I support you on that, Nancy. St. Lucia is not a good place right now. Sorry, I don't know what we can do to elevate the standard in St. Lucia. When you have politicians maping people, that is not a good thing. That is not a good stand. That itself will turn the country into anarchy. The crime situation is a burden. People right now, broad daylight, you close and lock your doors. You're not safe at your own home. You're not safe on the street. You're not safe in the city. You're not safe nowhere. So these people can be happy because all what they concern is about their government in office, and they don't give a them about nothing. Now, the matter of your case there, let me put that clear. Anybody, any citizen, any human being have a right when they figure their names or whatever have been violated or things said wrong against them to seek for redress or just. But what I want to say, I want people to listen to me well. I am only concerned that the taxpayers of this country does not have to be involved in this. Because I have tired of seeing, because anytime these things happen and you end up having the taxpayer, the people of St. to pay that, it becomes something like you feel you can do anytime. It's almost like you have immunity for even to take your own money and do what you have to do. So you are bending on the poor people money to take it, and I'm not saying that is what happened. I said I am only hope.
Yep.
That is not what is going to happen. The member will take his own money and seek for redress. That's what I'm saying, simple. So I am against, and even if you were to use taxpayers to do that, I can still consider that to be an abuse of authority. I will still call it an abuse. I know ministers, they do have some whatever, how you calling that? They have some sort of leverage or protection or whatever they have. But I don't like the idea where every time like that, ministers of government have been done in the past, taking people to court, and it's the people of St. Lucia
that have to pay.
And we never get whether the result is in their favor against them. They just don't care because the taxpayers have already paid the cost. That is what I don't like, and I would be very much monitoring that case. And you are doing a pretty good job. God is with you.
Color, there is no case technically, but if there is, I'll let you know.
God is with you, and I know you are so perfect. You have the facts, the evidence to show what you said. I don't see why too wrong can make all right. Okay.
Thank you.
So let's hope that everything went, and I'm pretty much sure there's nothing too much. It's just a matter of because they see you brilliant, so they want to keep you silent. God bless you.
Thank you so much,
okay, Paula.
But let me tell you, before we take that other call, this government is so compromised. If you listen to Ernest Hilaire in the House, Andre, Ernest Hilaire is reading in the House and showing document that he has a letter of the government sending to, he says, Scotland Yard or whoever to conduct investigation into him, and he has access to it, Andre. And you telling me there's no, how could the Attorney General allow for Ernest Hilaire to have access to information that is investigating him, Ernest Hilaire? What is this going on in this country? What is this? And you don't realize that's what you're doing when you come to Parliament and you say that? You're showing that there is a cabal, that you all have no integrity, that nothing is sacred in this country. How? If the government is investigating you, why would you have access to the documents of the government investigating you? And that is the same thing when the Attorney General and the prosecutor can say he doesn't see a conflict. The Attorney General was Ernest's personal lawyer. He became Attorney General and still pursued a matter in court against Ernest Hilaire, and you say there's no conflict of interest. That's where we are. So, Carla, when you talk about government's money being used, I have no faith that they're not going to use government money. None whatsoever. Let's take our final... No, we have to end. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I want to say something, Carla, that you made mention of something. You know, Nintas had a song. He did it for the match. I don't know if you heard that song. Merci bon Dieu, my whole self good. Labour Party in power, my whole self good. That's what it is, you know, St. Lucia. Whole self ou pas bon, mais whole self Nintas bon. Whole self tout Jean Labour Party bon. Merci bon Dieu, my whole self good. That's the song they were playing at the match. Somebody check ça. Zolaka match moute descend whole Labour Party so pas réaliser ça yo la ka dia. Whole ko yo bon, mais whole ko pas bon. Puis c'est issue qui ka mort l'hôpital, ou qui ka mort parce que commission, ou qui pas have issue l'école, ou qui pas have pay transport pour aller travail. Whole self yo bon. What's about you? What's about you? That's the question you have to ask yourself. So as you go through the season, and Andre, somebody made mention and still perpetuating nonsense. Shasna take millions of dollars to give cabot from NIC. Same crap. Same nonsense every day. Uneducated. When, where? And the loan that NIC call us, just so you know, the loan that NIC gave to cabot, that you say Shasna gave to cabot have pay with interest back. So toute la have ye encore for NIC. So ça on y peut dire about ça. Zote di kabot pan la han, kabot brooks pusa yo bayo la han. Kabot showed you all they paid the money in advance and they said that because of all the untoward attention and all the negativity. They paid it back in advance. We lose, you know, from that. We lost because if it was 20 years and they would have made $100,000 interest, they paid it back in 2 years and they only made 10,000 interest. So who lose? Not me and you? Not me and you? Exactement de qui qui dek là, moi pas dek on. Ma dek. But St. Lucia, I want to say to you that it's kind of like bittersweet. It's not good, but you have to make do. We're going into the Christmas season, the festive season, where everybody's supposed to be on a high. You're supposed to be happy. So I'm saying to you, find your happy place. I know it's not a happy place, and I know it's not a safe place, but find your happy place, find your safe place. Find your medium. Find something that is going to keep you through the season. Have hope. Have faith. I want to say thank you again to Rev Up 97.1. Thank you to our listeners. Thank you to every single one of you. Thank you to Teacher Jean and my Labour Party friends. What's the other one in Canada? Mr.
Sonson.
Mr. Sonson. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Thank you to my friends in the diaspora. Hyacinth. Thank you, darling. You know, I can't mention everybody's name, but thank you so much, everybody. This is our final midday opposition. I want to remind you, I think on Saturday, the United Workers' Party is having another fundraising to close off the year. It's a Christmas fundraiser. We're having a community night. It's in Cul-de-sac. Tickets are $100. Come out and support. Come with your Santa hat, your Santa clothes, and let's have, you know, a good little time. Let's celebrate, like I said earlier, the birth of Christ. Andre, you'll pass by for a drink over the holidays?
I'll be busy.
Oh, okay. Well, then Tony, my love, will never. Usual. You see, Tony will. You see why Tony gets the hug? Tony will never refuse coming by to eat, you know, maybe a little something and have a drink with me. So, okay, I asked you. Well, so don't say I didn't ask.
I have to survive.
St. Lucia, Merry Christmas. All the best for the new year. I wish you Godspeed, blessings. Thank you. This has been another Midday Opposition. Good day and goodbye.
Thank you, Nancy. And I want to say Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year. And looking forward to recommencing Midday Opposition at some point in the new year. Okay? All the best to you and your family. You'll be listening to the final Midday Opposition for 2024. And this is why in my shift here on Rev Up St. Lucia for today, Thursday, the 12th of December, the eve of National Day in St. Lucia, which is Friday the 13th. So thank you very much for listening. As always, have yourself a safe day. We have Tony Paul coming up next. He'll be with you until 3 this afternoon, from 3 until 6, Zen the DJ. So do have yourself a nice Thursday, and of course, keep yourself safe for the holiday. Happy National Day to you in advance. Andre Paul saying so long.
Join the United Workers' Party this and every Thursday on Rev Up St. Lucia 97.1 FM for an educational and informative program, Meet the Opposition. Participate in exciting discussions from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Be